a hard-working, pressing-oriented Mario Mandzukic can very conceivably deputize for Zlatan Ibrahimovic, especially with Milan now competing in all three competitions. Having played in Jupp Heynckes Bayern and Simeone's Atletico, Mandzukic is used to pressing the ball, and we've all seen him do it aggressively. Mandzukic at 1.9 meters tall as opposed to Ibra's 1.95 is the perfect outlet for people like Donnarumma, Kier, Romagnoli and Calabria to send that long ball forward.
Mario Mandzukic, that is an interesting idea. On his day, he is a lethal striker, no one can argue that. But he's 34 years old, and he last played in the Qatar League, where he didn't do particularly well. I think he did 4 or 5 goals, and then he was let go by mutual consent. But I think he's a bit washed up at this point. I don't think he has that much to offer. Just because his name ends in it doesn't mean that he's Ibrahimovic. Come on, Milan. I think we can do better. We need to be more forward-thinking. We need to have a young holding striker that we can potentially develop into the next Ibrahimovic. We don't need another 30-plus-year-old striker that hopefully could turn into Ibrahimovic.
Soualiho Miete, who's a done deal now, is a much better double pivot than Rade Krunic. This is an interesting signing. This guy does not need to be world class. He just needs to step in and provide quality defensive minutes in the midfield and step in for depth in place of the Prince Ismail Benacer. Our very well respective chief scout Jeffrey Moncada clearly rates him very well, having signed him in Monaco as well. Il Ragazzo was very decent in the last 2 seasons, and I'm hoping, like the other youngsters, he breaks through with Milan.
Welcome to AC Milan, Soualiho Miete. Very interesting signing. I like this signing mostly because of the economic conditions behind it. It's a very cheap deal. 8 million is the reported figure, which is about right for a player of his caliber, I think. He's interesting because he's 6'2", and he's got a similar frame, I'd say, to Bakayoko. He's not quite as muscular, but he's tall and he's good at turning defense into attack. He's one of those players. That's the role that Kessie has in that double pivot, where he'll win a ball and he'll quickly pass it around, and he's very good at that from his highlights, it seems. One area that he's lacking in, I believe, is passing, especially the long pass. I think he lacks a bit of precision in that arena. But for a cheap deal, I think he can be a good vice Kessie. In addition to these qualities, he also has a certain ability to handle the ball, as he has an average of 70% successful long passes, which is much higher than many of his colleagues in the league. So all in all, I think this is a good deal for AC Milan.
Alexandre Rodriguez da Silva Pato has a very special place in all red and black hearts. But does he know that Barbara Berlusconi doesn't work here anymore? I love Pato, but I personally wouldn't want him back. Seeing him again with Zlatan Ibrahimovic would be a dream come true, but I just don't see him as an asset to the current squad. Mandzukic is older than Pato, but at least he ticks some specific boxes that we really need. Whereas with Pato, we all remember him fondly, but logic says he's a finished player and that he does not have a place in our current squad.
Ari, finally, you're thinking with this rather than this. I'm happy to see that. Pato, look, there is no denying that Pato has a very special sentimental value in every Milan fan's heart. I mean, think about that 10-second goal against Barcelona. He made everyone so happy with that. There's no denying that. But, you know, Pato, at 31, his pace is gone. And his pace was the main threat that he had in attack. He's kind of like Fernando Torres. Once Fernando Torres lost his pace, his explosiveness, he just was no longer a threat, and I think that's the same thing with Pato. I just don't think that he has much to offer at this stage, sadly, but we'll always love Pato.
Milan Scammaca, who up until a week ago was highly rumored to be in talks with AC Milan and also had dyed his hair red and black, was ruled out of action for 2 months for a knee injury. And apparently we're still considering him? Do we not have enough injured players already? With Scammaca's injury update, De Marzio reports that Milan are in advanced talks to sign Chelsea's boy, what's his name?
Oh, that would be one Fikayo Tomori. Chelsea defender, very highly rated, an excellent prospect as a young centre-back. Though it seems that Chelsea value him. Frank Lampard seems to like him. He said that he sees his future at Chelsea. I think he's only willing to let him go on a loan, though reports do suggest that if he were to go, that it would cost us between 25 to 30 million. I think that given our strategy, that's a bit out of our price range. Also, I don't really think we need another centre-back. I think we're set in that department. We have enough depth. I think that this strategy that came about during this transfer window of aggressively pursuing a centre-back, I think it came because there were some injuries and some COVID absences and some red cards that happened all at the same time. When you think about it, we have Romagnoli, we have Kier, we have Gabia, and we have Calhanoglu, who are all excellent centre-backs. I think any two of those four could start at any given time and we'd be okay. I rate Gabia highly, I rate Calhanoglu pretty highly. I just think that we don't need another centre-back because he wouldn't get much playing time. That's my take.
Year-old Loic Bade plays in the League One and he's very strong on and off the ball and loves to push forward. I also just heard that Red Bull Leipzig is also interested in Bade as a replacement for the injured Scammaca. And if they sign both these players, I'm really starting to think that maybe Ranić secretly hates us and is just trying to take revenge. All in all, French magazine L'Equipe, I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong, put him in the top 10 revelations of the season, and I'll take him if we don't have any other option. Final announcements are still to be disclosed by the club, but Manu Kone is on his way to Borussia Gladbach, and Gianluca Scammaca has pretty much packed his bags for Turin. Juventus have nearly agreed on terms with Scammaca and Sassuolo. It will be in loan with an obligation to buy after 18 months.
Speaking of other missed transfer opportunities in this window, Luca Jovic is now on his way back to Eintracht Frankfurt, his old club. It seems that it will be a loan deal and they'll have an option to make it permanent. And it also seems that our long-term transfer target, Andrea Belotti, there isn't really a big strong push to sign him this summer, this winter window either, which is a shame. I think Belotti could be the replacement for Ibrahimovic. I think he's a much better option than Mario Mandzukic, but we'll stay tuned for that one.
Vito Angele reports Milan and Hakan Calhanoglu's entourage are moving closer to an agreement. The economic distance between Hakan's agent and Milan's offer has reportedly decreased after yesterday's meeting. There are still some meetings to go and there was no mention of the numbers by Hakan's agent, but one thing is clear, both parties want a renewal. Grande Hakan!
And the contract negotiations for our favourite Milan goalkeeper, Gianluca Donnarumma, still very coy, still very secretive, not much word on them. It's a shame that they drag on for so long. I think the last we heard that there's a difference of 3 million euros between what Milan are offering and what Mino Raiola is asking for, which is 10 million. It's just such a shame that Donnarumma's career is being absolutely ruined by Raiola. I know that he's only watching out for his players' interests, but Raiola he's a troublemaker. He's please Raiola, just stop being greedy. Come on. Donnarumma loves Milan. Milan loves Donnarumma. All the fan base, we're in alignment that he is the goalkeeper that we want, and he's in love with the club. So I don't know why Raiola keeps trying to pry him away just to make a big buck. It's a shame.
Andrea Conti and Fiorentina were reportedly in contacts and close to reaching a deal, but now it looks like Fiorentina has tabled Conti's decision and are looking at Real Madrid's Odriozola. With Fiorentina going after new interests, Conti is now a prime target for Parma. Via Versa specifically requested him from our club, and a deal could be reached of a loan with an obligation to buy.
So, looks like Leo Duarte has become the first official transfer activity that Milan have done in this transfer window. He leaves on an 18-month loan deal with an option to buy to Istanbul Başakşehir, and it just seems like a right move for him. I don't think that with the rise of Gabbia and Calhanoglu in particular, there wasn't enough space for him in Milan. I think that Istanbul will be more his speed. All the best.